So how to rent a condo in the Philippines, step by step. Here's some tips and tricks from someone that's rented probably 5 condos minimum in the Philippines in the last 2 years. Things to look out for, what to do, what not to do. Definitely watch this video before you start negotiating or looking for a condo for your first time or first time in a long time in the Philippines. So right off the bat, in order to find condos, the 2 places that I recommend are going to be Facebook Marketplace and rentpad.com. Facebook Marketplace, you can either go on and look for a listing, look up, BGC or Cebu or wherever you are, and you will find a ton of listings. A lot of times they do not put the price in the listing. You can guess why that might be. There may be different prices for different people. Maybe they want to keep the price a secret. I don't know. But it's mainly going to be realtors on there. And you can message them, and they always want to send a private message with the price. A bit odd, but you can decide if the price makes sense. Or this is something I always talk about in my consultations with people. We always hit this. And if you want to message me, and ask me if the deal makes sense, I'll be able to tell you if it's priced appropriately. If you want to book a consultation with me and have me walk you through it, or find you a condo, I can do that too. But anyways, on RentPad, it's a little more straightforward. You sometimes get lucky and find an owner on RentPad. Normally you're mainly going to be dealing with realtors that are looking for a commission, and you go from there. So you find a condo that you like, and you're going to go take a look at it. After you find out the price, obviously, and so you make sure you're not wasting your time, and you're going to want to go take a look at it. So a few things that you're going to want to look at when you go to look at a condo is going to be the gym. The gyms in the Philippines are not very fancy or good, so your gym at your building will more than likely be just as good as a gym that you might pay $40 to $50 a month to go to. So you might as well just find a building with a good gym, a sufficient gym. Right there in the building. You can easily go for your morning workout, evening workout, 2 a day, whatever. That can matter if you're a guy that's into the gym. Another thing you're going to want to look at is the swimming pool. A lot of these places have infinity pools, whether it's Cebu, Manila, other cities. You probably want an infinity pool. You want to take a look at that. Another bonus thing that you might look for is going to be a sauna. Some buildings have saunas and massage rooms, etc., depending on what the level of a building is. But that stuff can really matter. A lot of times these units are kind of shoebox units, as I call them, 300 to 400, 500, 600 square feet, very small by Western standards if you're coming from the West. So you may want to spend time in the common areas or the amenities, whether you're hanging out at the pool all day, going to the gym for an hour, yada, yada, yada. So sauna's a bonus always. Definitely need a good gym, and a nice swimming pool or multiple swimming pools is always going to be key. Now, the next thing is going to be like negotiating the terms and stuff. A lot of times they're going to push you for post-dated checks. Post-dated checks means that you're writing future checks. First of all, you need a Philippines bank account in order to write post-dated checks in the Philippines. Second of all, bouncing a check in the Philippines is a crime. So do not do post-dated checks unless you're prepared to pay for the unit, even if you're not there. If an emergency comes up, or you break up with your girlfriend, or you hate the Philippines or something, you are on the hook. So you'd need a Philippines bank account, and then you'd be writing out 12 checks for the duration of the lease. So rain, hail, sleet, or snow, you're paying the rent unless you close that bank account. And again, if you bounce a check in the Philippines, you're committing a crime. So I always say no to post-dated checks. They'll try to act like it's industry standard. It kind of is, but I've never done post-dated checks. And I've had condos from One Uptown Residences, BGC, Uptown Park Suites Tower 2, Gramercy, Tryon Towers, you name it, I've lived there. And I've never done post-dated checks. You're kind of in an advantage if you're a Western guy. They like guys from the West. They like people that are just going to live alone, or they're not going to have 7 people living there. And you can negotiate. So I do not do post-dated checks. That's up to you. Another thing they'll ask you to do sometimes is pay the whole lease up front because you're a foreigner, etc. You don't have a Philippines bank account. I don't do that either. But that's up to you. I certainly strongly advise against post-dated checks. Now, another thing they're going to ask for is 2-month deposits. I don't like to do 2-month deposits, but they will try to push for that heavily. What I offer as a bit of a consolation prize for a 2-month deposit is 1-month deposit, 2 months advance. So they're still getting, if your place is $40K, they're still going to get $120K, but they're going to get it in a different sequence, as in you're paying 60 days up front. You won't have to pay rent for 2 months, but you're still putting the 1 month down, and you're not giving them that much in a deposit, because on a tourist visa, if you moved out of a condo and your landlord was having financial hardships, or they didn't like your face or something, and they decided to burn you for your deposit, which I'm not saying they're going to. I've got my deposit back before. You're losing 40,000 pesos, not 80. So it's a better scenario for you as a guy that might have a hard time finding his way to small claims court in a developing country where you're on a tourist visa. This is not America. So another thing is going to be notarized leases. In America, we use notarized leases. That's where you go to like an attorney's office or something, and a notary sort of officially stamps the lease and sort of makes it an official transaction. I do not hand over big amounts of money without a notarized lease and keys to the condo. That's just me. And I always force that. And even the richest of landlords and the biggest deals, they always seem to forget that the lease needs to be notarized, and I need to push that through in order to give my cash to them. Another thing you can do, which might seem crazy, but you got to protect yourself, I've seen things go left out here, is videotape yourself giving the person the 130,000 pesos or whatever. Then it's just kind of on the record. You can, or you don't have to do that, but that's fine. Also, you want to get the name of the owner of the condo. This is what I do. And I'll go to the admin office if it's like a weekend and we're not going to be able to kind of push everything through with the admin office because it's a Saturday evening and I'm taking possession of the condo. I'll find out the name of the owner of the condo, or the SPA, the power of attorney of the condo, and I will go to the front office and confirm that that is indeed the owner of the condo, or that is indeed the power of attorney that's handling the condo. I've gone and done that before on a condo, and then it turned out neither were the owner or the SPA, and then they mysteriously canceled the deal after I discovered that. It's just another thing to look out for. Don't know what happened there. Doesn't matter, didn't give them a penny. But you got to protect yourself when you're on a tourist visa and you're giving over thousands of American dollars or any amount of money. And sometimes you're like, paying for a place, but then you're going to get it a week later, so you don't get the keys and this and that. Don't do any of that nonsense. Keys, notarized lease, upon transfer of, usually it's always going to be 3 months, whether it's the 2-month deposit in the 1 month or the 1 month and the 2 months advance, whatever. So at that point, you take a look at the unit. A couple things you want to check at a unit, obviously, is going to be the air conditioning, common sense. You want to check the water heater. You want to check the water pressure. You want to check if it has inverter air conditioners. You want inverter air conditioners, not non-inverter. A non-inverter and inverter air conditioner could be the difference between a couple $100s a month in electricity. Electricity in the Philippines, especially in BGC, major cities, is going to be basically America price. So, I've seen 28,000 peso electric bills because I didn't have inverter air conditioners on a 400 square foot unit, 350 square foot unit. So, the difference between that and a 5,000 peso $100, air conditioning bill, or electric bill, is a major difference. So you want inverter everything if you can. Inverter fridge, inverter washing machine, dryer combo, but certainly inverter air conditioners. If they don't have it and it's a high ticket condo, tell them to put them in. If you're getting the condo for way under price or something, you can maybe roll the dice on it. I've seen it go both ways, but you can get big electric bills out here, similar to the West. So be careful with that. And basically, when you sign a 12-month lease in the Philippines, the realtor receives a full month as their commission. So you sign a lease for $40,000, the realtor gets $40,000 if you sign for 12 months. They'll always act like 6 months is not an option. Trust me, it is an option. And usually when you go to the lease signing or the handover of the money, the owner's there to get their money. And so you will meet the owner, And the owner is a lot of times open to 6-month leases. The realtor is not, because the realtor doesn't want to get 20K or 10K or whatever half of a month is. They want to get the full thing, because 40K in the Philippines is a fortune or a really nice payday for anyone for that month, even if that was the only deal they did. So keep that in mind. Sometimes on RentPad or on Facebook Marketplace, you might luck out and get hooked up directly with an owner. That way you cut out the middleman, you get a little cheaper price, you can do this and that. But generally, you will be dealing with a realtor, and the realtor will be pushing for 1 year. 6-month leases do exist. Sometimes they throw another 20 or 40 or 5% on the price or something. Might be worth your while if you're, not sure if you want to stay there for the rest of your life, but long term, and you're not sure about the Philippines or you're not sure about the condo. So always better to opt with the 6 months if you can get one, but they will always push for a 12-month for commission purposes if you're not dealing owner direct. Now, if they do agree to not doing post-dated checks, you just want to get their banking information. I did this when I lived at Gramercy, etc. And then you physically walk into the bank and hand cash over to the teller to directly deposit it into their bank. I used to pay my rent at the Gramercy penthouse from Boracay when I was staying at my place in Boracay at their bank in Boracay. So you go into said bank, you put the cash in. If you have a Filipina or something, you can push it through her bank account, wire her the money from your American bank account, hand her the cash, whatever, if you don't want to physically walk into the bank. That's how I handled that. My first landlord happened to be a Phil-Am that had Zelle, and so I was able to pay her with Zelle. But those are a couple of ways that you can pay your rent when you're lucky enough to not get roped into post-dated checks. So verify it's the real owner at the administration office if it's like a weekend or you're not just going down and handling that. If it's during the week, go down with them and kind of put yourself on the books officially right there after you've handed the money and all that, to where they're processing essentially like your move-in kit or whatever you want to call it, to where you're becoming an official resident there. You'll have access to the amenities, get your key cards, etc., etc., etc. So those are just some things that I've learned, being out here for a couple years and renting multiple condos. And you definitely want to be careful. Never, ever, ever hand over a penny, not even a deposit. Just do the deal all at once. Notarized lease, keys in hand, verify owner and power of attorney if there is one. And no post-dated checks if you can avoid it. No 2 months deposits if you can avoid it. And always look at the amenities, and always look at the different, the lobby, the concierge, just the overall vibe. Another little tip I'll throw in at the end here is, when you're gonna stay somewhere a year, go get an Airbnb there for 2 nights before you move in for a year of your life. And you'll get an idea if the building is loud, if there's bugs, if the neighbors look nice, or there's karaoke parties or whatever. It's a good idea. I've done that many times, where you get an Airbnb for 3 nights and you're sort of auditioning the building to see if it's going to be a good fit for you. All right, guys. If you come up with anything else, put it in the comment section. If you want me to find you a condo, or you want me to, do a consultation with you and kind of create a customized plan for your move to the Philippines, or tell you what building to live in and how everything works from top to bottom, Jasperinthephilippines@gmail.com. I go live almost every day around 9 a.m. Manila time. And sana all.